A good morning and a warm welcome to this week's edition of The Dialogue. My name is Prince Apollo. We analyze the big events of the week and put those matters of national importance into perspective. Welcome aboard. A very busy week we've had, many events here and there, and the panel is set to take us through those events. Like we do every day, you can join the discussion, send in your comments and observations, and we will be happy to receive that feedback. Well, this is The Dialogue. It is the big show, looking at the politics as events unfold, looking at the Thanksgiving Mass that was organized by the former leader of opposition, Commissioner of Parliament, Honorable Mpuuga in Masaka. Really, we need to interrogate the politics behind this event and also project what possibly may happen next. We'll also look at the happenings in Parliament as more legislators are being arrested, charged on cases related to corruption. This week, two more members of Parliament, Honorable Michael Mawanda, Igaraist, Honorable Mudimi Ignatius, were also arrested and remanded on cases of corruption related to the funds that were released to compensate the war victims, the cooperators, in a bid to compensate the victims, the owners of the cooperative societies that existed before the 2000s. My name is Prince Apollo once again. I have the pleasure to introduce to you Dr. Gerard Wansala. We missed him last week. He's back. Welcome from the Republic of Chirinya.
Thank you very much. Good morning, our viewers. I'm glad to be here again. And indeed, greetings from my United Republic of Chirinya. You know, Chirinya reflects the Uganda that I know. Banyankole, Banyarwanda, Bangisu. For me, that's the kind of society, the Uganda I want. And of course, my host, Apollo, I'm happy to see you well. Also glad to share a platform with my friend, my senior comrade on the right, Rugarama. And of course, my senior. I followed him many years ago. At one time, I think they addressed the rally and they had to sleep inside the coolers. That's when I started paying more attention. And of course, I think when I was in secondary school, when he was a deputy IGG.
Thank you so much. Dr. Gerard Wansala is a public policy researcher.
And a teacher.
And a teacher at
Uganda Management
Institute. A teacher, lecturer.
The same stuff at the end of the day. He's an educator.
Well, I'm not so sure whether your people in Chirinya are safe as NEMA continues to enforce restoration of wetlands.
As you go towards Chirinya, the number of areas, of course, I've heard that Chinawataka people are not safe. I think it's the next, somewhere there. Then, of course, in Chirinya, we have a place called Forgery, then Lost City, where you would find LOCs selling a plot of land at 500,000.
Imagine.
A wetland. So, I believe some of them may not be safe because of mistakes that have been done by others. Yeah.
Well, viewers, I am also privileged to have Dr. Comrade Daniel Rugalama, a Pan-Africanist. Actually, he's the chairman of the Pan-African movement, but he's a scholar. Welcome to the show.
And a lawyer.
Thank you so much, Comrade Apollo. Regards to Senior Comrade Rule and my brother here, Dr. Wansala. And to all of you, our esteemed viewers, I'm really very pleased to be back here.
Wow. from the outlook, you must be safe from these evictions. Where you stay, you must be safe.
I can be safe, but of course the debate is much bigger than that. I can be safe as an individual, but it would be very unfortunate if I simply didn't look at the bigger picture. The bigger picture is that we have got an increasing number of people who are encroaching on the wetlands, and we all know the repercussions. One time we were discussing, and I think it was here, the impact of encroaching on the wetlands. So I think there is a need for us as a country, and especially NRM as a government, to adopt smart approaches in combating this problem. Because the way we are evicting, for instance, these encroachers, quote unquote encroachers, may also be sending very wrong signals at the end of the day. Maybe we are not going to effectively solve this problem of encroaching on the wetlands by way of treating the symptoms, because we must get the real problem as when it, even before it occurs. Who authorizes these people to get into the wetlands and do what they do for a number of years?
Do they
Then
need
for
the
you,
authority to encroach on wetlands?
you see, the issue is, don't the responsible organizations, responsible government bodies have a monitoring system? By the time somebody constructs a house and stays there for 10 years, honestly.
Thank you so much. We will possibly have time for that. I'm privileged, and it's an honor to have Honorable Waswarule on this panel this morning. And Waswarule is a former member of Parliament for Rubaga South. Rubaga North, I'm sorry for that.
Where we are here.
Where we are. And he's also the former Deputy Inspectorate General of Government. I'm pleased to have you speak to us.
It's a pleasure, and it's a pleasure being with my panelists. You've opened up an interesting debate as to
for you, I know yourself. Where you are yourself.
Yes, I'm up on a hill. Okay. Yes, on the same hill, this hill. But the evictions of people in wetlands, you know, this is on the main road. And I'm sure, I would bet my life that there are people in Nema who pass there every day. So the issue is not that there are people who are in wetlands and they've been there for the last 20, 30 years. The issue is, why are they being evicted today and at such a large scale? And in an economy,
shouldn't they be evicted? Or,
no,
if I may ask, when
let me finish the question.
Would it be prudent? I mean, the right time to evict them?
The question is not that they are in a wetland, they've been there for 20 years. Why are they being evicted today?
Okay.
And not only so, but look at the state of the economy, right? When the economy is at its worst, then people are being evicted. There's a big hue and cry. It raises questions as to whether really it's a meaningful eviction.
Should we wait until the economy is good?
Let me finish a sentence, because whenever you cut me halfway through the sentence, I don't ask the question.
Okay.
Yeah, the question is, it raises questions as to whether it's a meaningful eviction or it's a diversion for other issues.
Oh.
Yes.
You suspect that could be diversion?
Well, I'm saying because
you have sway the attention of the public from
other issues.
Other issues.
Yes.
Sure, it's your opinion. Yes. Dr. Jerry Ranzala.
Likewise, the issue of corruption could well be the same thing.
Could be also a diversion.
Because you're talking about things that have been there for the last 20, 30 years.
There is time for everything.
Yes, I know.
Possibly this is the time.
Precisely, but that is the question. Why is it the time now?
Thank you so much. And to answer you, President Museveni really made the response this week. He said those who are asking where NEMA was when these people were settling in wetlands, he said, are they idiots to understand that it's a wetland? do they really have to wait for NEMA, whether it is lazy?
Does
I
that-
mean, should they wait for NEMA
Does
to
that
tell them
answer
it's a
the
wetland?
question? Does that answer the question?
That was
Does that
his
answer the
response.
question as to where NEMA was?
Dr. General Duranzala, make your submission on that matter.
One, when my brother was articulating Comrade Rugarama, I recalled we cannot move away totally from holding the enforcement agency accountable. Why? If you go to Chira municipality, the areas I've been mentioning, Forgery, Lost City, even now, people still sell plots of land at 500,000. Those areas have GISO, they have LOC1, and then we saw when they were raiding some of those wetlands, people would go broad day and they say we are veterans, we fought. Then they slash the forest, they sell the trees, they even make their own stamps of LOC1. And then this one sells to the other one, the next day another one. After 3-4 months, there's national water there. And then there is also Umeme has also been taken there. So if this is an illegal settlement, why are we allowing Umeme to take their power? National Water and Sewage Corporation, a government is taking water there. There are all these
Local government collecting taxes.
Exactly. And we
those
also
places.
know actually that in the law, part of the powers for NEMA were devolved to the local governments. So being near the people, they are able to detect and know there's this problem. And I'm sure it was raised because some of us, the ordinary citizens, we go to know how about a whole state with its apparatus. But I'm also privy to information. Last year around September, the government of Uganda completed gazetting of over 8,000 wetlands in Uganda. And by us doing that and launching the what they call is what they call the wetlands the wetlands what gazette of Uganda, specifying all these important wetlands. We got recognition from the UN. And as I know, there is a project coming to support Uganda because of showing commitment to preserving wetlands and things like that. So in light of a struggling economy,
we may
we are also focusing on some benefits that are coming, of course, to support the state. But then we must demonstrate that we are doing something.
But either way, wouldn't we actually be preserving the future of ourselves and the people to come?
There is no question about that. I totally agree with the president, and all of us have noticed that this is science, that wetlands, they contribute about to 40% rainfall, that they hold water, that water finds its way to our lakes and rivers, that we can coexist in those wetlands.
Water catchment areas.
Exactly. That also the air pollution in cities like here, you know, Kampala is expanding. So it's important that we have those spaces to capture, you know, the pollution, the carbon, you know, footprints and so forth. So there's no question about that. The only problem we have is that Uganda as a country, we usually respond. We act like fire brigade. Even
crisis management.
Exactly.
But doctor, there is information as you continue. There is information here. We have got a highly increased number of factories.
Absolutely.
There are these factories. When you look at Kampala Metropolitan, where are they located? And remember, all of them have got what we call impact assessment reports. Who carried out the impact assessment reports? And why are we now crying that we have got so many factories? We are proud that there are so many factories, and probably they have offered jobs because we want to solve the issue of unemployment. But at the same time, we are looking at the great impact that these factories are likely to cause or are already causing
to the environment.
You see, to the environment and to us as human beings by them being set in wetlands. But remember, even when we say, look, because we may be here debating, and you find that some of the blame that we are putting on NEMA is actually the blame that should be going to bodies like KCCA
local
and some other local. But you see, what happened if we have got what we call joint security efforts? What happened to the issue of government bodies working together. What happened?
Thank you so much, Comrade Lugalama and the panel. My name is Principal. Like I said, you can be part of this big show. Make your comment brief, precise, and to the point. Send it on via our platform on WhatsApp and on our regular SMS platform. Let us hear you speak about the topics we have at hand. And we are going straight to Masaka. A big event was organized and held yesterday in Greater Masaka. Honorable Matthias Mpuuga, really, I can say he proved the critics wrong. And in one way or another, it was a show of might, a show of strength. And comrades, we want to interrogate the politics behind this whole event, because though it was announced as a Thanksgiving mass, more of religious and prayers and that, it was a political function in one way or another, even from the speeches that were made. Specifically, Honorable Matthias Mpuuga was quoted in sections of the media saying he's even capable of leading this country. And I don't know which signals really that sends out. Dr. Jeded Wanzala, you'll take the first shot. Talk about the politics behind this whole thing.
Thank you very much, Apollo, for this question. I have been asked a number of times about this very topic on various spaces, including other televisions. And from the onset, I said this was a political event that was going to be veiled into in a prayer, with religion and prayers. And of course, when I looked at the guest list, I knew one, we had to pay attention to one, what was going to happen at the event. So at the event, one of the things that I anticipated and actually happened was trying to clean because there is a certain mud that is following the Honorable Mpuuga. And therefore, from the speeches of his friends, specifically the Honorable Segona, and the commissioners who are co-accused by the Honorable Mpuuga, was to say these funds were legal for a person who performs very well. They are always thanked. And so they was trying to rub that in the minds, in the faces of the viewers and the guests who were attending. Of course, aimed at saying, you see, our person has been tainted, but you know this is not what he is because he received this legally. And of course, I want to believe that some of the few voters would interrogate further, but others may be contented with this, which renews the Honorable's standing in the community. Two, we wanted to observe what was the guest list. And towards the end, I saw it turned a little controversial that the bishops had to decline and delegate because if you are
Even the Prime Minister, the
if you're a leader of the Catholic Church and then you are seen to be associated with a controversial event where people are talking so much about corruption, probably you have to stay away in order to keep the image of the church. And also, Katikira has been under immense pressure. Being portrayed like that someone who is taking a partisan approach to this matter of corruption, and therefore there are people who have been challenging that. Look, you the Katikira, where are you standing on this? Are you supporting this? You know, if they rub it in your face every day, even when he had confirmed attending, then he had to say, let me delegate. And of course, if you know from the intelligence perspective and others, there are groups that were trying to link this to the Kawaka's health and things like that. So causing a lot of instability in the office of the Katikiro. For me, him delegating, but equally sending a high-profile delegate, I think it was correct judgment. Now, what only didn't appear to me well as an independent observer is that if I'm accused with you of taking someone's goats, and then I'm appearing in court, maybe in this case of public opinion, and then I bring you the co-accused, you know, who we don't even ideologically agree on anything else except on this matter of which you are being accused, and then I come and say, you know what? No, he's right. He's right, yes, he did this and this. For me, as invited guest, I think it would have been well if they kept quiet and greeted the people.
You're talking about Honorable Sidanyi and Honorable Esther Foyachan.
Yes, all the three. If they were my guests, probably I would have told them to greet the people and then they stay off. Don't make comments about that matter. Ideologically, they don't agree on anything. The only thing that is bringing them together, basically, is that they are all co-accused about this matter. And then lastly, what everyone was watching to see is the Honorable announcing that he's going to fight to take the leadership of NUP, or is he looking at the presidency of the country, using this event as a launch pad, or what is next? I think it came out very, very clearly, because it was clear when he said that if you have been asking all those positions, I can manage them. But my focus right now is to unite the change-seeking people so that we see a change of power, transition, without shedding blood. And he had people lately who have been so much in support of him, particularly the DP bloc. The Mr. Mukaku,
Mike
Mavike, there were quite a number of them, and then members of the Waters, but anyway, they are the same people, the Holy Alliance. They are the same people, Honorable Sumani Basalirwa, Joseph Kabuleta, they were all there. Spoke about unity and then trying to work together. In fact, they were sounding more of Dr. Kiza Besige's one big tent. But whether who will lead that one big tent, that is something we don't know.
Okay.
Yes.
I think we will interrogate further. You start from there and possibly tell us if the message was so clear to the ordinary people out there. I don't know. Let me hear from you, Honorable Waswa. And for you, you are not just an observer, I'm sure. You are a stakeholder in the politics of this region here. No, I'm saying you in the politics of this region. You must have a stake, I am sure.
And why this region of this nation?
Okay.
Yes, you see, when you compartmentalize me, and my politics has never been compartmentalized.
All right, sorry.
And that is one of the issues, even in this issue that we're talking about, the compartmentalization of politics rather than the nationalization of politics.
Okay.
Yeah. So, what is the question?
What did you see from the church, actually not the church, but a believer writing and telling the church that you should not you should not be participating in that event because it has questions related to morality, questions related to corruption. Then later we see, like he said, the church delegates.
It's unfortunate that people go into the public scene and bring out arguments that are false. You know, if there are issues of immorality and you are the church, do you run away from them or do you go and sort them out?
Okay.
Right? That is a very simple question. Yeah, I have a relative, they are Barokoli, and one of them once said, you know, I cannot go into Chisenyi because of the immorality there. So I asked that for you as a Molokole, if you are dealing with people who are morally upright, who are you ever going to convert? Eh?
Correct.
Yeah, so you have to look for the immoral where they are, where you think they are or where people think they are. Eh? Wherever there is smoke, you go there. So the question of the church being there, if there's something wrong, then you have an opportunity to put a corrective hand, to bring out your voice. You've been given a platform, and you use the platform. So I look at things rather than from a negative point of view, from a positive point of view. So that perception, I think, we should sort that out. Now, what did I see? Not what I expected. It was a non-event.
It was?
A non-event.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it was built bigger than what it was. It was one of two things. What you've alluded to as to what next. Then also it was another step in the battle between forces within the National Unity Platform. So there are two aspects of it. Now, the thing about it is that the attendees, I must admit I was given a card.
Oh.
I was invited 2 days to the event. It would have been good somebody like me to know what is going on, what you're being roped into, rather than simply to get a card. It would have at least helped me to know what is going on. But then if I'm not privy to what is inside, that's another issue. But that's also political.
Did you attend?
No, I didn't.
Oh.
As I said, I got a card 2 days before.
Oh.
Now you want to know what you're going into, not what you're seeing in the press.
Oh.
That's they call that a lobby. In politics, and you want people to be more with you, you lobby them. You don't expect them, you don't expect to drag them from your stage to do that.
Oh, is it a reason why you did not attend?
And that's quite you see, I'm trying to be subtle. But you're trying to create something. I'd like to point out that in politics, I've been aware of this event. I've been aware of what it was intended to be by some of the political actors. Right. And I've been aware to the extent that they have lobbied. You could see quite a lot of politicians that were they are very high-ranking politicians. But remember, they come from diverse political fields. So if it was intended to be a political takeoff, you have all these actors. But then you have to look at the political base that this entity is sitting on. And that, I think, is very, very important. That base, not the actors who have come to witness, but that base on which you are building. I was very interested to look at the faces that were there, to see the qualitativeness of that base.
What did you see, Honorable?
That is the question. This is why I said I started off by saying it was a non-event.
Oh.
In that respect, I didn't see. I saw all the big names that were there on the political scene. In the so-called, you mentioned the forces of change, and you talked about change, and you know my opinion about change and forces of change. I'm very clear about when it comes to change, and people talk about being forces of change and whatever. It's very important in the political field to say what you're moving from and what you're moving to. Yeah, the politics, the objectives, what you stand for, not the fact that I want to change from what there is to undefined. It's very important to know where you're coming from and where we're going. People believe there's a belief, especially in the opposition arena, that President Museveni is a spent force, that people don't like him, and therefore, because people don't like him, they will necessarily like you.
Oh.
Yeah, And I think that is one of the biggest political mistakes in life, to believe that you don't need to demonstrate that you have capacity, you don't need to demonstrate that you have direction, you don't need to demonstrate that you have objectives. That the mere thinking of that people might not like the status quo, that they will like you. And I can assure you that is not the case. The disadvantage you start off from is that you don't have a track, if you don't have a track record of public administration, people want to know, are we going to be stable under your umbrella, right? There are many issues. Is the economy going to thrive? So
Are things going to be better?
yeah, not the issues that you hear about. They've locked up our people, you know, your own personal issues, which you have created, by the way.
Okay.
Right? Are the political issues that you think that concern the people.
Okay.
Yeah, but the people think about their bread and butter.
Oh.
They think about
Everyday food.
Yes, they think about a roof over their head. You started a very important topic here about the evictions. That is something that affects people on a day-to-day basis. Yes. So those are the issues that people are interested in. Those are the issues people expect to come out, not to hear that, you know, I can lead the forces of, we can change.
Possibly, maybe, Honorable, this was the beginning. This could have been, like you said, a takeoff. Then those messages you're talking about will come later.
You've heard of the expression, the first impression.
The first impression.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not the first impression. If you've been in the political limelight for the last 4 months and you have been the political subject, you have an opportunity to market.
Yourself.
It's a unique opportunity that was given to you by those forces that are fighting you. They put the limelight on you, all the attention is on you. That is your...
To you,
that is
Honorable Matthias Mpuuga did not utilize that platform well.
Look, don't when I'm doing an analysis, take the analysis and absorb it. Don't turn it and turn it into a criticism. I'm just analyzing for you.
Yeah, true.
People out there understand what I'm saying. If I'm saying that if you're in the limelight, it's your opportunity to market yourself, to showcase yourself, to show your objectives. It's up to you to decide whether it happened or not.
Okay.
Don't keep on pulling me into a collision course with A, B, C, and D.
Should not push you in a corner.
No, I'm not in a corner. I'm just pointing that it doesn't.
Okay.
You don't have to be in that situation. I'm just saying that a good politician, that when you are given an opportunity, opportunities come once in a lifetime, right? Like people say, doesn't strike twice. The opportunity can go by.
Yeah, true.
You can miss it.
I get you, Honorable.
Yes.
Thank you so much, and comrade.
Yes.
I will. I think you'll accept. I push you to the corner and ask you if the intention was to hit the road and make an impression. Did the Matthias Mpuuga hit the mark?
You see, comrade, if you remember very well, when we started off this Matthias Mpuuga and colleagues debate, and that service award stuff, some weeks back, I think, is it weeks, some months back, I told you, and I will repeat it here, that I have not yet fully appreciated as to why NUP, as a political party, sat down and took the decision it took against Matthias Mpuuga. Up to now, I have never known it. Even when some of their heads, like the deputy spokesperson, has come up to say that, no, we are living up to the expectations of our people. We have told you that NRM is has no will to fight corruption. For us, we fear nobody. We started off with our former leader of opposition and and now a commissioner by showing him exit. If we can go that length, it means therefore that we are able and we have been sanctified as a political party that is capable of fighting corruption. If, I must state, indeed that is the way NUP wants to work, coming into power, then I think, truly, if that is their position, then I think it is such a well-crafted political party that is going to win the hearts of the people in as far as a leadership of a country like Uganda is concerned. But I doubt. I really doubt that NUP got rid of Mathias Mpuuga in the manner in which they did, simply because Mathias Mpuuga took 500 million shillings.
You think there are other motives? I mean, there is an
Absolutely.
ulterior motive.
If there are not any other ulterior motives, then this was one of the worst political miscalculation that any young political party could ever make. Why do I say so? When you look at the Mathias Mpuuga and the kind of relationship, and you see, we must not lose sight of some of these facts, and I think that is what Honorable Rule was trying to say, only that for him he stopped at the level of analyzing, and he leaves the conclusion to you and the audience. Me, I will make my own conclusion. They are mine anyway. At the end of the day, these are my conclusions.
Yeah.
You can agree with me, you can disagree with me. I am not related to Mathias Mpuuga, so I'm not making a case for him. I am simply looking at the circumstances and I'm saying this is what I deduce. You see, Mathias Mpuuga certainly has got a very strong relationship with the Mengo establishment. Now, one can ask, if he called Mengo establishment to the Thanksgiving, did they come?
They did.
Certainly they came. So for you to argue that well, of course I know some circles in there they are saying what you see the Katikiro Kabaka Wawero didn't turn up. He delegated. And delegation is in order. Who says you can't delegate? He called the church. Did the church come?
Yeah.
They came.
They led the mass.
So to say that probably he expected the archbishop and maybe the archbishop, come on. So these things we know. And therefore NUP getting rid of such a person that can have or actually has this kind of influence. And we don't have to be Jewish prophets for us to know that there is a very strong relationship, even at personal level, by the way, between Mathias Mpuuga and our Katikiro.
Yeah.
There is.
Yeah, there is.
I mean, and therefore, and I had an opportunity to listen to NBS Akasa Meme, and I was hearing our brother Rutamaguzi even reaching the extent of saying that the Kabaka arimbuwangangusi. No. I think certain things really. We know, we are all students of history. We know when the Kabaka of Uganda was exiled. We sure. And therefore, I may not want to go into that. But what I'm saying is that whatever NUP did, it lost the constituency. In losing Mathias Mpuuga, it lost the constituency. In the same manner, whatever is going on, Mathias Mpuuga equally also lost a political bearing. But all said, going forward, if NUP keeps the pace and the manner in which it is doing its politics, I do not see a lot of positive political future for NUP going forward. And I want to conclude. I want to conclude it this way: that 2026. I'm not a Jewish prophet, but I will say this: the number of MPs that NUP has currently will shrink by about 12 or even 15 MPs.
Cut yourself Mpuuga.
And much more.
Thank you so much. It is your opinion, and we have only 4 minutes to the break, and our viewers, you can be part of the discussion. The number is 0701-609906. We're interrogating the politics behind Honorable Mpuuga's Thanksgiving event, and possibly looking forward on how the things will pan out as Mpuuga continues to show his might, and indeed he did. I quickly want to hear from you, Dr. Jared Wile-Anzala. With the censure motion going on, I mean, the process to censure him and the co-accused in Parliament, the case in the court of public opinion still hanging around his neck. What do you see as Honorable Mpuuga now seems to be forming his own constituency?
Even before Doctor comes in, just one sentence on that. One, the Sechkubo's censure motion has failed. I can assure you it will not take off. It has failed. Two, morally speaking, you see, we are not going to censure everybody on suspicion, to bring censure motions every time we feel like something has gone wrong in a political party or something in a parliament. No. That is not the way to do things. And finally, on it, what is now going on with the arrest of MPs, and it has, in a manner, by the way, watered down.
We'll get to that.
The Mpuuga,
we are going to that in the next segment. Doctor, quickly, what do you see of Mpuuga's prospects now with the whole discussion and debate on corruption gaining traction?
I think the Honorable Mpuuga has a big mountain ahead of him, because yes, I agree with the senior comrade Rugarama. The church participated, the kingdom participated, but when you judge the court of public opinion, it seems to be moving on the opposite direction. We can see it from the debates, letters in the newspapers. We can see it from discussions on radio, from social media platforms. I think the public has not yet exonerated him. And when this started, we thought it was going to fade quickly. As usual, Ugandans, one thing comes up, when another one comes, they forget. But this seems to be a sustained debate, that even when it was going down,
I was amazed.
And then
the framers of
censor motion
the
came.
framers of the Parliament exhibition are now planning to again come up with a new.
Exactly, and you know, these are interlinked.
A new one.
You have seen the issues
on Parliament.
Renewed energy.
Yes, because you have seen, as people are debating the issues or around the transport, the allowances, travel allowances, trips that never happened, as people are talking about
The generators come.
the service award, which was given less than a year in Parliament. What have you achieved? As people are still asking those questions, then you see procurements that are exorbitant, and by the way, they are coordinated because they are also cleared by the Solicitor General's office. You see, something that would have cost a taxpayer 70 million is costing 500 million. So it is coordinated. So I don't believe, and actually the arrest of these MPs...
Where is the element of public procurement and disposal input?
Of course, for them,
Are they not involved?
They show the process very well, that there was bidding, there was sitting and evaluation. Then the minutes were taken to the Solicitor General's office for review
So
and
why
advice.
why should it
and
be
then
parliament? Why should it be
But
the
what you are
speaker?
describing is the
I'm
government.
not
is the
saying,
government.
I've not mentioned the name of the speaker here.
Yeah, what
Nothing.
you-
No
what you are
parliament.
I am talking about the practice of parliament. But also the speaker could be responsible because she's the chairperson of the commission.
What is
She
describing-
initiates.
what
Honorable.
is describing is the government, be it the executive, be it the parliament, be it the civil service. It is all operating in that way.
Absolutely.
Oh.
Or
If
all
a
of
document
government.
if a document comes from parliament and it's faulty, I thought that it is the role of these government agencies to verify and say maybe this looks over exaggerated.
They're all in
But
the same thing.
but if something is say 70 million and someone is buying it at 500 million,
you see-
and you only look at the process, you don't even look at
you see
value
an
for
element
money.
an
Of
element
collusion.
of collusion.
Absolutely.
Okay, we will go for a short break. This is Dr. Jared Ewanzara, a public and policy researcher and a lecturer at Uganda Management Institute, is in the studio. Comrade Dr. Daniel Rugalama, the chairman of the Pan-African Movement, but also a scholar, a lawyer, is in the studios. But also we have Honorable Waswarle, former member of parliament for Waga North, but also the former deputy
Inspector
IGG,
General.
senior citizen, is in the studios, dissecting some of those events that played out in this week, and specifically we're looking at the event that was organized in Masaka, the heart of Buganda, one of those regions that has, from history, been influential in the politics of this country. And Honorable Mpuuga held a Thanksgiving Mass, and turned out politics dominated most of the speeches. But yes, it's understandable. But for us, we are looking at the politics behind this whole event and possibly what it means to the political future of this country. Somebody sent in a comment here related to the evictions that are going on by the National Environmental Management Authority. We encourage you to keep those messages coming in, not only on the NEMA evictions, but also on the topics we are talking about. You can use our WhatsApp platform, 0701-609906. That number will constantly run on the screen. Be part of the discussion. Tell us what you think about the evolving issues on the politics of this country. Hello Sol TV, live in Naweru, but outside the NEMA area of interest. He says he's outside NEMA's area of interest, but I have seen NEMA pick up with police, not once, not twice, with those people building in Lubiji wetland. Is that clear? I even called NEMA myself, telling them about what is going on in Lubiji, people powering soil at night and building both night and day. Nansana Municipal Council has got an environment officer who is paid to manage, monitor, and take care of the environment in this area, just 2 kilometers from Lubiji. Where was he or she when these people were building? Here we are. Actually, that is true. We have environment officers on at district level.
It's what I
across
told
the
you
country.
that some
Forget
powers
about
were
that.
involved.
But we should also ask
These
ourselves.
These
Wait a
people
minute.
have been there
Wait a
for
minute, Honorable.
20, 30
Honorable.
years. People not seeing in 20, 30 years. They passed that road.
Honorable, we should also ask ourselves if that just one environment officer has capacity to run across the whole district, monitoring the environmental degradation activities that are happening all over. Well, we can not go back to that topic. I want you, Honorable, to tell us what you think will happen next in the politics of this country relating to what happened in Masaka. Because from what we see now, Honorable Mpuuga is building a new formation. That's what we see out of NUP, and some panelists here have predicted that the NUP will be greatly affected by Honorable Mpuuga's decisions, and I don't know what you see and what you can predict.
Well, what I can project is that now Mpuuga is going to start to build a political base. He's going to start to lobby. The only issue is, like I said, is doing it in reverse. You start with the lobby, and then, because you see, you don't present people with a fait accompli. You want to build with people, not to bring what you feel that you have built. That's how you carry the day. It's a matter of style. But if you are self-confident and you are sure that you can drag people with you, you can stand the risk of my friend Honorable Mao, whom, when he decided to liaise with the status quo, he assumed that because he has the instruments of power, and I recognize that he has the instruments of power and he still has them, but that he would move with the party, which didn't happen. You can imagine you're standing in an LC line for an election and there's a big wind behind you. Now in politics, you take that risk. But I can imagine that yes, now it's going to begin the lobby. But remember that it's built. He's lucky, like I said. He's had 4 months of high publicity. He has not had to say much, and he's had a good opportunity to build on that, to build his image, to build what he stands for, to build all these issues. You have an opportunity. When you have free, let me call it this way, free advertisement. If you were to give me free advertisement, the first thing I would look at is how do I utilize it to the maximum. Because I'm
how you
getting
brand yourself.
How I brand myself, and how I market myself to the maximum. You see, I brand myself, market myself to the maximum. And this is what I was saying, it has not happened. You see, if this limelight goes away, you'll now have an uphill task.
But you see, Honorable, the limelight you're talking about, the whole image was negative about him.
Only you think it is negative. Oh yes, because you see, first of all, the fact that you've got limelight is positive. You are the centerpiece. It's now up to you as a leader to take charge, not to be driven. And this is what I'm saying, that there are things which I'm not saying. Give me that limelight, I'll drive you. You won't drive me. And I'll make my image, and I'll make my points, and I'll make my
Which he didn't do.
Yeah, it's precisely. But, and I'm only advising that while that limelight is there, this is the time to do it, because it's going to be costly later on, when you're going to have to move from a TV station to radio station to try and put your message across. Whereas these people have been looking for you, they're coming. You understand? So it's very important how you market yourself. But this is politics, and it also tells about political acumen. Now, the other thing about the build-up is that the question of NUP. Will it be NUP, or will it be a reversal into DP? DP, there's a problem, as I pointed out, that we have the head of DP who has
joining government,
which is not a problem as far as I'm concerned, so long as you do it with a clear mind and you tell your people and you move with them. You understand? But that didn't happen, and so that estrangement is there. And so using that, looking at that as a possible vehicle has its problems. NUP also has its problems as a possible vehicle, because people are speculating as whether
it will survive.
Well, NUP, the survival of NUP peaked and it's on its way down. Everything,
Oh.
yes, yeah, it went up, it peaked, and it's on its way down. I don't think
Courtesy of Mpuuga's decisions, the decision against Mpuuga?
the decision of against Mpuuga was a big expose of political ineptness.
Oh.
Yeah. First of all, your leaders who are complaining about abuse of your rights by the state, and then you abuse the rights of an individual. You first accuse him, then you ask him to come and defend himself, and then you totally ignore the evidence. This whole debate about Mpuuga and the service award is pinned on one thing. One, did the commission sit? The commission.
It did.
Not
Because
Mpuuga.
we saw minutes.
Not Mpuuga and the four commissioners. Did the commission sit? Does the commission have the mandate?
It has.
Is there a lacuna between the mandate and conflict of interest?
That's the question.
It's there. Because the mandate is there and there's a lacuna because there are things like conflict of interest. What do you do if there's a conflict of interest? For example, people will say that you sat down and you chopped this money. Are the same MPs who took the benefit of 200 million shillings or whatever, 300 million shillings from vehicles? It was decided by
The same commission.
The same commission. But it came to Parliament, and Parliament passed it. When Parliament passed it, were they not in conflict of interest? Because they were passing their own interest.
Oh.
So
you also agree that the issue of common interest does not apply here?
I'm not saying that it doesn't apply. I'm saying that there's a lacuna.
Oh.
Yeah,
In
where
the
the laws, there's a conflict between laws. You're given powers, but they conflict with another law. And of course, because these powers are constitutional, they supersede a mere statute. So, but those are realities. But the question is, when this commission sat and passed this service award, as a commission, not as individuals, when they sat and passed it, the procedure is that they will now have to take their decision, because it involves drawing money on the consolidated fund. You now take it to the Minister of Finance, who would now bring a bill to Parliament, which would be passed. So a whole debate is going on, and nobody is addressing the issue of whether or not the legality of passing it through Parliament was done.
I think that honorable will come when possibly the censure motion is allowed to come to bring debate on floor of Parliament, then they can discuss
But that, you see, is where the issue is. Everybody who has engaged in this debate and has taken a position should take a position after they have established that.
Okay.
So you cannot tell me that a debate should take place in Parliament without establishing that, because everything hinges on that.
Okay.
Right? So, and that is a very major weakness. It now points to the censure motion by the such Kupos. They're members of Parliament. I presume, I assume that they can get that information as to whether or not, because they are in Parliament, they should know whether they sanitize that process or not.
Okay.
But the fact that they are bringing a motion, now we should now look at their motives. Without addressing that issue, they're playing to a gallery. They're probably looking for the votes in the elections that are going to come,
Okay.
rather than the issues.
Okay, he says, hello, this is Natal Davidson from Namisi Indra district. According to me, I see no leadership in Nup. and it is his opinion. Thank you so much, Davidson. Thank you so much for watching. And we keep inviting comments on what we saw in Masaka. Mpuuga organized that Thanksgiving. And Mukisa Alan says, thank you so much, dialogue. And thank you so much for the discussions. I think Honorable Mpuuga has launched a new party. Okay, besides NUP. Yes, I edited the message, but thank you so much for watching, and it is your opinion. People think it's another party in making. From you, Honorable, you can conclude on whether you think what is happening in Parliament, the censure motion and the whole debate around service awards may affect the prospects of Honorable Mpuuga.
No, they won't. Because, like I said, the such movers and co, they're playing to the gallery. We're fighting corruption, we're upright. They're doing the same thing Nope is saying, we're being very upright. When the whole process has really just simply exposed that they are not upright. They are corrupt. That they have received money from the state. That they received the taxes on vehicles that are armor plated were waived. You know, people who say that they will not touch Museveni's money, they are swimming in it.
So they are not also holy as they want to.
They travel to see this Honorable Segirinya, and you spend 1 day, you claim 5 days twice, right?
Or in Nairobi.
The money is from CAA, Uganda Airlines and whatever. That is what is being discussed. And this is where my friend, my fellow panelists talk about the political astuteness of the people who are fighting. You can fight somebody and in such a way that it hurts you. I don't think that Mpuuga has been damaged. No, he hasn't.
In the eyes of the public, because you're saying, you said
Mpuuga yesterday,
we think he may be now going to lobby I mean, across the country now. Or
he will lobby, but towards what? You see, somebody mentioned a political party. You have to know what are the difficulties in forming a political party, especially in a short while. The fact that NOP got a political party is a question mark in itself, right? That is one of the reasons why people say that it's a government project, because it's so difficult to launch
register
a party.
A political party.
Yes, it is so difficult that unless your way is paved. So likewise from Mpuuga,
it may not be easy for him.
Political party, if you are to form it on your own without any assistance from the state, it's a very difficult process.
Thank you. Dr. Jeda Duere-Wansala, can you make your final comments on what you see after all this has been said and done?
Yeah, without differing so much from my elder, but accountability, of course, presupposes that someone acted transparently and in good faith. And since this debate started of the service awards and so forth, there are voices, innocent voices also in the parliament that said, the whole country is calling us thieves. Probably, why can't we have this debated transparently, and then the commission presents the evidence, and then this matter is buried.
To rest.
But even now, at the time when there is a proposed censure motion, there are players within the parliament who are working so hard to block, to ensure that this is not debated at all in parliament. So it also leaves the public with so many questions. Why? Why did they refuse to bring it to the order paper? Why are they still fighting given this motion? So for me, that one leaves a lot of opaqueness that will always trigger these discussions. And then lastly, on the same, I agree, it's not very easy to come up with a new formation right now. We knew Dr. Vesich was a key factor here. He has been traversing the whole country, trying to consult, and probably his thinking was a new vehicle, but also saying he doesn't want to leave some of his people orphaned, otherwise he doesn't believe in forming a new party. But set all order, it's mixed reaction. So, mixed response in the country. So it's something that's not going to be easy. There are forces behind, there are people behind the Honorable Mpuuga who I know cannot bring even 0.00%, so 0.1% of the vote to him. In other words, the public calls them expired politicians.
The best.
And the way they debate in the public face, they throw a lot of hatred towards NUP and its leader, and then they end up not convincing the public. Yes.
And finally from you, what do you think will be the effect and impact of Honorable Mpuuga to NUP and its leadership? Where you said you said it may not.
I wanted so much to know how many NUP leaders were attending that function beyond Masaka City, and I looking at the MPs who were there. I think there were like for the Honorable himself, the Honorable Segona, the Honorable Joyce Vagala, and I think there were about 4
of the 57.
Of the 57. So towards the function, even those who were saying they will attend, they started disappearing. So implying that probably they are reading the voices and are looking at their political prospects where they don't want to be looked at as lepers.
They don't want to be resurrected by Kamocha.
Absolutely.
No, not
For me, I saw
that. You see, you can get involved into a battle, but this is what I was saying, that you have to look at the future. What is Mpuuga likely to offer? And what are you likely to gain
From
with an early battle with the is it Kamocha?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you might not want to get involved in that battle.
They are
at this
playing
stage.
safe.
Yeah. But remember, if you really look at Kamocha, the substance of in Kamocha has been removed. Yes.
Has been removed.
Yes. It is a shell, but you know when you're looking at an egg that they put a needle and they've sucked it out. That is also the problem. So people are now looking and saying, what is our way forward? What can we run back to DP, for example, if they were DP? And they're looking at problems there. They're looking at NUP, and it is a problem by itself. It's a sinking ship. The difficulty, they're looking at Besigye. He's had his problems in the east. His light is not shining as bright light. You see, there are so many factors, so many imponderables. And remember, the politics we're in now in Uganda is the politics of transition.
Yeah,
we
true.
always debate and forget the overview. You have to fit in that debate.
Of transition.
Yes. Now, this is where the imponderables are multiplied by 10 times. So people being careful and sitting on the sidelines, it's not a win for this side or a loss.
Oh.
It's not a win for this side or a loss.
You cannot tell now,
Yes,
as it
because
stands.
they are looking at imponderables. They are looking at even this very issue of, we're talking about corruption and how
It will affect.
yes, because you're looking at parliament, and if that debate or that onslaught were to take its logical conclusion, you might end up with no parliament at all.
Okay, Honorable, finally from you, I want to conclude on this matter, but now I remember one key issue about the power base that has been holding NUP, the Catholic Church, and Mengo, those two power bases, and that's my opinion, and the same also is shared by Honorable Mpuuga. He has the Catholic Church behind him, and Mengo. How do those two play out in the prospects of both Honorable Mpuuga and Honorable Chagulanyi?
Remember earlier on, we started on that line, and I said I'd rather not be compartmentalized. Now you have compartmentalized
again
the two of them, right? In the same Kachisero. Yes, let's say that the power base of NUP has been largely in Buganda and in Busoga. Take that from the elections, right? And not related to Mengo and the Catholic Church. They may be Catholics, right? Chagulanyi is a Catholic. But remember, even before he joined politics, he was in conflict with the current catechumen over his
land in Busabala.
And in a conflict in a way that is unbecoming for a Muganda. So you cannot align him with Mengo in that respect. That the way he conducts himself is almost as if he was not a Muganda in that respect.
Okay.
So I think putting them in that bracket.
It's not correct.
Now, yeah. Also, the fact that somebody is a Catholic does not mean that his power base is largely on the Catholic Church. Yeah. So that means.
What about the?
On the other hand, as far as Mpuuga is concerned, he is aligned with Mengo. That he
served in Mengo.
Yeah, so his background is from Mengo. He has the connections with the current leaders there. That is true. He's also a Catholic. That is also true, and from Masaka, which is also Catholic based. And yes, also he has tried to reach out to the church. Yes, which you don't see on the other side.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying that
it gives him leverage over Kamocha.
Over Kamocha in that respect. And of course, even the church has come out in you can hear church voices coming out on television and talking about individuals, not talking politics, but we all understand what is what is going on.
Sure.
So you can now see what is the effect on a NOP. You can evaluate it in that way. If you are in a conflict and you have two powerful institutions and you estrange yourself from them and you don't try to reach out to them, and then you conflict with the
leadership on one side,
or the leadership of one side, who is in good terms with these institutions.
So it's bad news for Kamocha.
It's not. Let's say it's not good news.
Okay. Comrade Rugarama, just one comment. Honorable Chagulanyi has had a huge support from Generation Z. I'm looking at the political basis for these two belligerents. How do you see him, or how do you see Honorable Mpuuga cut into that new young generation to brighten up his political prospects?
I am yet to find out as to whether somebody has taken interest, especially our contemporary researchers, into the voting patterns over a time, especially when the NRA came into power, as to how the youth, generally speaking, in the country have been voting. Because we have been having the political parties, especially when the NRA metaphysized itself, and then we allowed the political party dispensation to play out in our politics here. I don't know as to whether really the youth are allied mainly to Bob Wine simply because he's in their age bracket, and therefore, nationally speaking, like
isn't it obvious that
like the senior Rule was telling us here, when we get a national picture, a broader national picture, just recently there was we had the elections, the general elections, and we had the youth participating. I want to ask, just looking at that, it may not necessarily bring out the bigger critical picture, but let's just take, if it is a true reflection, if we are to consider it as a true reflection of what the youth, generally speaking, are feeling in the country politically, we have about, is it 4 or 5?
What?
5 throats for the youth in our national parliament.
The regions.
Give me one that comes from the opposition, and a noop at that. Okay, give it to the opposition.
But
But
comrade, you know that
just
factors-
a minute.
No.
Just a
factors that
minute.
play out during
Just
those
a minute.
elections of
Just
the
a
year.
minute.
But
I
very
said,
different.
I made myself clear.
Look at it this way. You see, when you're talking about slots that are elected through an electoral college, then you'll notice the variance even when you go to
Workers and
workers,
PWDs.
whatever. It's the same thing throughout. It is by design, and the outcome is
I may want to ask Comrade Rugarama.
even for
Do you doubt that? Do you have doubts about Bobi Wine's influence and political support among the youth?
No, I don't. But you see, it is in the context. Yeah, and let me just clarify what I have just said. I hedged myself. I said even at that level, because we may not have to take it that it is a true reflection. I know these are electoral colleges. But what was because even when you make an attempt, a very serious attempt, we would be talking about that very serious attempt. And like we say in the legal world, even when you lose a case, there is what we call making very serious submissions. You make very serious, informed submissions that even when you lose the case, the court will observe that you really made very serious. But you lost at the end of the day anyway.
Yeah.
Now, having said that, what were those serious submissions? What were the impact that even the opposition, generally speaking, made in especially the youth?
To appeal to the youth.
Such that you appeal to the youth and then they will say, okay, you lost finally, but here you had made very serious inroads. But finally, maybe on that.
Finally.
I want to state that we still have a problem, and even Honorable Senior noted it here, that NUP is not yet with a national character. We still have NUP concentrated in the central region and parts of Busoga. And I won't even believe that in Busoga, it is just pockets. Not because the biggest number of MPs in Busoga are actually NRM. Now, in that regard, therefore, I'm looking at the kind of politics they have adopted, especially trying to play holy by ejecting out some of their pillars on the account of transparency as a disservice and
It's counterproductive.
cutting down their political support by trying to claim high moral ground when they could have internally dissolved this matter.
Thank you. High Salt, I don't agree with the Honorable on the service award, whether it was sanitized by Parliament or not. As a person fighting for poor Ugandans, it's absurd to take such a huge monies when your people are in absolute poverty. Looks like he saw you as if you were defending the service award.
There is much more money that has been taken, not the 1.7.
It's not a question of it's not a question of defending or not defending. It's a lot of money. Quite likely it was an inducement, but I think I'm quite correct in saying that the people who try to take it through the legal process don't follow the legal process.
Okay.
You cannot accuse somebody legally of something that was sanitized, but that it is a lot of money. It was received one year. It was decided 1 year into office.
By the way,
yeah, all those are question marks. But the question is that the people who have labeled it as corruption
are not also holy.
They are not holy. They may have themselves sanitized it in Parliament.
Okay.
You understand? So they are self-accusing. So it's a ridiculousness of the way it has been handled, and rather than that has avoided getting to the actual issue itself.
Okay.
But probably, Apollo, even before you move to another step, just a small one here. I think the public should also interest itself in mega corruption scandals that are less talked about and we only focus where we have Matthias Mpuuga and the 1.7 billion shillings. How much have we lost in that parliament? Just a minute. How much have we lost in that parliament, for instance, in the Roboa scandal?
Okay, you can respond.
Yeah, I think
Because I was going to tell him, I was going to tell him, in my opinion, it's not about the monies that was stolen, but the people involved.
But also, for me, it brings me to the cardinal role of Parliament, the role of oversight and the role of appropriation. So if Parliament becomes a theater
Exactly.
of stealing public funds, how safe are other funds?